Hey gang, how we doing today? We're in for another adventure in songwriting. Uh, we're going to deal with some. My name's Rick Beresford, and it's a pleasure to be here. I'm a Vietnam vet, as some of you might know. Let me go to the intro nets and pull up the CreatiVets thing that we need. The chat, there we are. And we're successful. Okay, good. It's always nice when we're successful in the chat. And we'll pull that over here where I can see you guys. And we'll pull it down a little bit so it looks nice and neat. Here we are. Hey, I realized that I don't need to post these lyrics because all I have to do is, hey Robert, how you doing? Rick here. I used to, post lyric sheets, but to be honest with you, you can get these lyrics so quickly online that it's really quicker just to go get them online. So I recommend to you folks to just go online and get them. Today we're going to do several songs from Mary Gaucher's album. Let's see, where's the cover? Here it is. This is the album we're going to work on today. Let's see, get it in there. Rifles and Rosary Beads. All right. We're going to look at several songs on this. We're going to look at Bullet Holes in the Sky. And we're also going to look at It's Her Love. All right. So we had been talking about, so let me just put that down here, today's songs. In the SKY, what other side? By M-A-R-Y, Mary, G-A-U-T-H-I-E-R. It looks like Gauthier, but it's actually Mary Gaucher. She pronounces it. It's a French, all right? And the other one we're going to do is song number 2 is also It's Her Love. Also, Mary, why didn't that come out? It's Her Love, Mary, again, G-A-U-T-H-I-E-R, Mary Gaucher. Okay. All right. I'll give you a minute to go online and get those lyrics. In the meantime, I have a mission. I'm on a mission, and I ain't wishing. That's right. I have to heat this. I have to heat up this bitch because she got cold on me. She got cold on me, so we don't want no cold cup of coffee. Right? It's ceasefire day. Okay. I'm into that. Totally. I don't know about it though, so we'll have to look at that and figure that one out. Oh, ding, ding, ding! What does that mean? The coffee's ready. Yeah, the 11th of November. Oh, okay. You could write a cool song on Ceasefire Day. That would be a great title for a song. Yes, it would. Without further ado, Mary, 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 Mary. I like to remind myself that life is merry. Started out being a Christmas cup, but by golly, it ended up just being an everyday cup. Now, I'm going to switch glasses because I can see the screen better in these. They're a little crooked, aren't they? These are reading glasses, but people say I look really good in them. All right, well, there you go. All right, so bullets in the sky. Now, let's review what we've been doing for the past like 6 or 8 lessons. We have been reviewing techniques for storytelling, right? Because we want to tell stories about our wartime experience, convert them into art, into songs, right? Am I right? Yes, that's why we're here. By the way, CreatiVets, as you know, is putting this on, and it would be great if you would take some of your amassed riches. I know you have many, many riches loaded with extra cash. If you could just fling a few dollars towards the CreatiVets, that would be so appreciated. It would keep this whole thing going, and so that would be nice. And just to be honest with you, I'm extremely expensive, okay? I mean, I cost a lot of money. And we go, yeah, I'm doing this for free. Yeah. Do I care that I'm doing it for free? No, I don't care. I just like being here, people. I like hanging out with y'all every Tuesday and Friday. We changed the time to 11, so we're hoping people, catch up to that. And I was at 1, but that split my day right down the middle, so I prefer 11. And by golly, CreatiVets said, you know what? You take your badass self and go on to 11. So I said, well, thank you. So here we are. All right, now to review, what we had been talking about is how to tell a story in the form of a lyric, right? Not so much in the form of a novel or anything like that, although storytelling techniques do bleed over into short stories, vignettes, poetry, and novels, of course, especially poetry. But so we had talked about the classic developments is the formats for developing a song would be, and therefore tell a story, would be the classic narrative, which has a beginning, a middle, and an ending, and time passes over the course of the song. Like it would be like starting a song with "Once Upon a Time," blank, 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 right? And you can have just one person in it, the singer, or you can have 2 or 3 or as many people in it as you want. It's just you're going to tell a classic narrative, it's just very much like telling a story. Once upon a time. Very heavily reliant on details of the unique variety All right, yeah, unique variety. That's what we're looking at today. Okay, so there's that. Now we move on to the next form of storytelling would be what I call the snapshot, a single scene where time takes place usually over the period of the song. If the song takes 4 minutes, 4 minutes pass by. So we're in the now, right? So it's describing the reason why you're at this particular place. Because we know in the story world, especially in the commercial story world, that we want our songs to be compelling. With songs, we want one emotion, one compelling emotion, okay? So we have three minutes to, and if you're Bob Dylan, 17 minutes to tell a story, yeah. In a snapshot, where it takes place over the length of the song, so the character is talking and describing what's going on in the snapshot, in that compelling snapshot, right? And you vets out there, this is a great way to write a story. If you've got a compelling photograph, you can write a song based on that photograph. You can look at that photograph and write down, here's what you can write down. You can make a list. You can write down, yes, I have seen Bob Dylan's new album, and it is freaking crazy amazing. It is so good. It is so, so good. Yeah, Bill Evans glasses. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Or Buddy Holly. Huh? Buddy Holly. I like the Buddy Holly. I like that one better. Buddy Holly was my first hero. He was my first hero. Yeah, so take a photo, and this is what you can do with this photo. I'm going to give you a little, maybe I should type this in. So if you've got a photo, see, I'm just going to put this all in caps. Take a photo and write the following. And I'll put it in parentheses. You're going to write descriptions. You're going to write actions, conversations, and inner conversations. So basically what you're thinking, right? Okay, and then we'll post that. All right, that's the first thing. Then the next thing we're going to do is place and time. And the time is past, present, and future. And ongoing. Ongoing is, like whenever I. Right, whenever I do this, this happens, right? That's the ongoing, right? Okay, so those are the other things you want to write down. Then you want to write down feelings, right? Concepts that come up, like the concept of war, the concept of peace, the concept of greed, concepts such as war, greed, forgiveness, love, money. These are all concepts, right? And And then you can also write down what we might want to call conclusive writing, like drawing a big picture. Big picture conclusions from everything you've written. All right. And the last thing you can write down, let's see, return that. And the last thing you can write down is symbols of your writing. You may have some symbols, like if you're going to war in Iraq, you could say, you know, like so out there in Iraq there's desert, right? So your symbol could be like a desert flower, or it could be like a sandy, like a desert flower could be you know, the desert flower could represent maybe your girlfriend back home, right? So there's wonderful, you know, as you write, you can go through your writing and pick out, oh, there's a symbol for her. There's a symbol for, you know, for the way I feel. Like darkness. If you're depressed out there, I mean, a lot of soldiers, you know, had a rough time over there in Iraq because it was, you know, well, in any war. Come on, any war, you're gonna have difficulties, right? Because you know, you're putting your life on the line, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, who are we kidding here? You know. I like the idea of thermometers. Yeah, a thermometer, right? Like you could use fever as a symbol for the heat, and also fever could be a symbol for war, because fever is hot and you're sick, right? And you're sweating, so it could be fever could be a symbol for just the whole war experience, the scary, uptight, but we still follow directions and we do as we're told. And we sacrifice, and we don't ask questions, kind of thing, you know. Yeah. Yeah. So we could do that. So these are things that you want to look at when you're looking at your photograph, you know. And these are things you want to look at anytime you're telling a story, right? These are the elements of storytelling. Are these things. Oh, one more thing that I like to put down separate is attitudes. Attitudes. Because why? Because attitudes are so important, like the way like just your sort of the stance, the way you feel, like I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm hungry, I'm sleepy, I'm pissed off, I'm blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm frustrated. You know, those are all attitudes. And I like putting attitudes separate from feelings, because you can feel a certain way, but there's something a little bit separate about attitudes. Like you can feel lonely, but your attitude is tough. You see what I'm saying? So your external appearance is, I'm a tough sumbitch, right? And I'm going to go out there and do my job and seek out the enemy and make life a better place for the world. But your feelings on the inside are, you're scared, you're doubtful, and you know, all the real feelings that we have on the inside. So I guess in a way you could say attitude is what you put out to the world, right? That's your attitude. But your feelings are something that's underneath the attitude. And I actually like that so much, I'm going to write that down. Feelings, So attitude is on the outside. That's your appearance. And then your feelings are what's on the inside. It's more personal, right? And maybe private. That's very cool. I'm glad we discovered that. So I'm going to write that in here. Attitude is your appearance, and feelings are inside, private, right? Personal. Cool. All right. So it's how we manipulate these bits of these pieces of information. We always want a song to have compelling emotion, one compelling emotion per song, and we always want to keep we have what I call an arc of a storyline, or I like to call it the arc of interest, because sometimes in songwriting we find out that we don't always tell stories. Sometimes we just describe things and talk about things, emotions, and we do it sometimes symbolically. So it's not always a plot like we know, like in a book. So I call it the arc of interest. Not necessarily, I mean, yes, sometimes it is a story, but sometimes it's just, like I said, feelings, but we want to keep the arc rising, right? We always want it to be rising to the very end of the song where it'll just curve a little bit and where it ends. So we do this by several things. We keep the momentum going through unique details, and that would be moving it forward. Or, so forward with details, and that's all the senses, by the way. We want to include all the senses. Don't forget it, because we use the senses of seeing a lot, because that's just natural. You know, I see this, I see that, I see that, I see that. But don't forget the other four. They're really important, right? And that is seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, and what's the other one? At any rate, hear, see, touch, taste. I'm missing one. At any rate, I don't know why I'm having I'm blanking out. But you know, everybody knows the five senses. What am I missing? Somebody tell me here. Hot and cold. Oh, that would be touch. Yeah. So hearing. Oh, smell. That's what it is. Hearing, smell, tasting, seeing, hearing, tasting, touching. And at any rate, I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with this. It's ridiculous. I mean, come on, five senses. At any rate, don't forget all 5, all right? Let's see, because I'm such a freaking nerd, that's a wonderful thing about the internet, is that now if I click off of this, will I come back to the same? I better not, because things are squirrely on my computer. I better not click away from this chat because it could erase the chat. It does weird stuff, so I don't want to interrupt things. Let's just do the 5 senses. What are the 5 senses?
Here's what I found.
No, that didn't do it. Okay, let's try this. Come on. Five senses. I just wanted to get all the touch, sight, hearing, smell, and taste. All right. We finally got, I don't know why I was so confused about that. So we have touch, seeing, hearing, smell, and what's the last one? And tasting. Touch, sight, seeing, hearing, smell, and taste. Okay, there we are. Okay. Yeah, good, good. Mr. 2 nailed it. Okay, good. You know how sometimes you have a brain fart on the simplest, stupidest things? Well, that's what I just had. I just had a brain fart. Okay, just to catch people up here, today we're going to do Mary Gauthier. Let me go back to the photo picture here. We're going to do Mary Gauthier, Bullet Hole in the Sky. Mary Gauthier, spelled M-A-U-T-H-I-E-R. And look this up on the internet. And then we're also going to do It's Her Love, Mary Gauthier. All right, that's what we're going to do today. And we're just going to, I've been reviewing, how the elements of a good story when it comes to songwriting, right? So now we're going to actually listen to these songs and see what we got here. We're going to start with, and so everybody get online and type in bullet holes in the sky, all right? Let me just write that in here again, because I know people don't go back to the very beginning. Song is bullet holes in the sky. And it's by M-A-R-Y-G-A-U-T-H-I-E-R. All right? Okay, bullet holes in the sky. So go online, type that in there, bullet holes in the sky, Mary Gauthier lyric, and boom, it'll be there. All right? So let me go to my Spotify, and we will listen to this song right now. And then we'll talk about it. Sorry, wrong song. There we go.
breakfast at the Waffle House. If I show 'em my ID, a parade upon the riverfront, you can hear the trumpets play. Hands on hearts, the color guard kicks it off on Veterans Day, and they thank for my service and wave their little flags. They genuflect on Sundays, and yes, they'd send us back, but I believe in God and country, and in the angels up on high, and in heaven shining down on us through bullet holes in the sky. Mm-hmm. Just ask me how I'm doing, but I don't know what to say. I was thinking about the battlefield, the night I learned to pray. Marchers make their way down Main Street, the crowd begins to cheer. I feel my chest explode as my eyes fill up with tears. They thank for my service and wave their little flags. They genuflect on Sundays, and yes, they send us back, but I believe in God and country, and in the angels up on high, and in heaven shining down on us through bullet holes in the sky. Well, Jesus said, forgive them, they know not what they do. And he's here with me this morning, and his words still ring true. So I hang my head and pray for those we lost and those who remain. As the clouds burst over Nashville, it begins to rain, and they thank for my service and wave their little flag. They genuflect on Sundays, and yes, they send us back, but I believe in God and country, and in the angels up on high, and in heaven shining down on us through bullet holes in the sky, and in heaven shining down on us through bullet holes in the sky. Oh,
Woo! Powerful song. Is it not? Wow. Wow. So, talk about cathartic experience here, right? I mean, converting the warrior mind to the creative and healing mind. Just so you know, we're dealing with this album right here. Let me go to my page where I can see. We're dealing with this album right here. And these songs were done all with veterans. They are co-written with veterans. It doesn't say so. It is too bad. I don't know why they don't say so. They don't say so on the intro net. But that song was co-written by Jamie Trent. So thank you, Jamie, for your service. Jamie Trent. Yeah. And the lyrics are in the, if you buy the album, you get all the lyrics, and you get to see the co-writers, right? See bullet holes in the sky. You can see the co-writer there. Can you see that? All right. That's what's going on. So what do yeah, I know. This song just killed me because it killed me softly, right? It killed me because of the bullet holes in the sky. When that line, and heaven shines down on us through bullet holes in the sky. I mean, whoa. I wanted to talk a little bit about symbolism today, and so that's why I picked this song, because I listed as one of the elements of a good story are symbols and figurative writing, right? I wrote that down, and it's way back up there, symbols, yeah. So I don't know. Mary Gaucher and I are old friends. I didn't get a chance to call her up or text her and ask her what came first, the chicken or the egg. But it may be that when they sat down, let me write that co-writer's name in here so I remember. Jamie Trent. Jamie Trent. All right, Jamie, thank you again for your contribution to this song and to your the service that you have done for our country and for the world in general, right? Trying to make good things happen out there, hoping that someday good things will just happen without any need for soldiers. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. So what do we have here? Let's talk about the form first. The form is it's obviously a chorus song, right? So we have a chorus, and how is the forward momentum achieved, right? So let's go over the lyric of this first verse. It says here, it's the 11th of November, and now I see, because I hadn't read the lyric really closely, but I think, was it Robert? Were you the one that mentioned the 11th of November, like way back in this? And way back at the beginning. You said something about 11th. Yeah, you said, yeah, the 11th of November. And then you said, yeah, kind of like, I wasn't sure what the 11th of November was in Nashville. Is that, because I know maybe it's Veterans Day. Maybe that is Veterans Day, the 11th of November. We have Memorial Day and we have Labor Day. Memorial Day is for, I guess, to honor the people that died, and then Veterans Day is just honoring people, whether they're dead or alive. And maybe Veterans Day is Veterans Day is the 11th of November. I bet one of you guys is going to look that up for me. So what we have here is a setting. We've got one setting. It's the 11th of November down in Nashville, Tennessee. Free breakfast at the Waffle House. If I show them my ID, it's got to be Veterans Day. It's just got to be, right? Yeah, it's just got to be. A parade out on the riverfront. If you don't live in Nashville, the heart of downtown is located on a river, on the Cumberland River, and so riverfront is a place where people go to hang out. There's an amphitheater there at the end of Broadway, and it's a really nice place to have a concert and so forth. And there might be a parade there starting at Riverfront going down Broadway. You can hear the trumpets play. A hand on hearts, the color guard kicks off Veterans Day. Well, it even says what it is. Okay, duh. Okay, just read on, Rick, and you will discover everything you need to know. All right? So it is officially Veterans Day. And now, so what do we have here? We have a bunch of descriptions and we have actions also, don't we? We have the describing of a place, right? And a time. It's 11th of November and it's in Nashville and it's on the riverfront. So, you know, this is great, great and wonderful specific detail, right? Describing, and it's a wonderful setup because from here, we could do so many things. We've got a parade honoring veterans, and from there, no telling where it could go, right? Now, I will mention that the music is pretty serious. So it's it's 11th of November down in Nashville, Tennessee. Free breakfast at the Waffle House. For show my ID. I think what's going on there is kind of sad and serious, is it not? Yeah. Well, when you know Mary Gaucher, she kind of she has a tendency to kind of like those kind of songs. Am I right, Mary? You know I'm right? And it's really funny because she's the sweetest, most truthful, honest, and funny, intelligent, wonderfully engaging human being on planet Earth. But when it comes to writing songs, she just magnates towards that. She wants brevity in her songs. So here's another brevity-driven song. So we have a song that has that real serious kind of vibe. I mean, it could have gone, you know, it's 11th of November down in Nashville, Tennessee. Breakfast at the Waffle House, so everyone I do. Yeah, parade on the river street. Right down to play. Hands on hearts, color guard, kicking off Veterans Day. Veterans Day, you know, I mean, you see how music dominates over the lyric. Music always, fellow songwriter travelers, music always dominates the emotion. Always. So if you've got a happy lyric and a sad melody, people see the irony in that. And so I call that forced prosody. Good prosody is when sad music goes with sad lyric, or happy music goes with happy lyric, right? That's considered good prosody. It's when the emotional marriage of lyric and music, right? But you can also force prosody, right? You can force it. The way, and we've talked about this many times, Motown made a gazillion, trillion, debillion, gabillion dollars off of forced prosody, where they had sad lyrics and happy music, right? Just listen to the Supremes. You want to hear happy music. If you just hum along to the song, it sounds really happy. But when you read the lyric, you're going, wow, that's pretty sad. Baby, baby, where did our love go? Deep inside me, I'm all torn up, I'm a mess. But baby, baby, where did our love go? Da, 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 da. See what I mean? So the song, you see the irony that there's sad lyrics, but happy music. The irony is you're trying to hide the fact that you're feeling sad deeply. Teenagers really related to that, and those wonderful guys and gals there at Motown figured that out. They said, "Wow, man, we've got something going here. This happy music and sad lyric." Because teenagers are full of angst, aren't they? With that brand new, sparkling, shiny testosterone and estrogen, right? Brand spanking new, just out of the box. And they don't know what to do with it, right? And so they're just a freaking emotional mess, right? So they figured, let's have happy music, but underneath the surface, so our attitude is happy, but our feelings are sad, right? Remember we talked about that earlier? Bringing it back around, that's right. Hey, Seth, hello. And Tony, good to have you. Join the thing. We're talking about Bullet Holes in the Sky by Mary Gaucher. All right? Bullet Holes in the Sky by Mary Gaucher. So if you want to go grab onto that lyric, Gaucher is spelled G-A-U-T-H-I-E-R. It looks like Gauthier, but it's not. It's Gaucher. Mary Gaucher. She is the bomb when it comes to writing song. That's right. And I can't wait to get her back on our back deck drinking mocktails, because I have quit drinking as of 2.5 months ago. There's Nina. Hey, Nina. Good to have you there. Notice that both the second and third verses end with water. Oh, interesting. Yeah, tears and rain. Boom. Discovered theme. I like that. I like it, I tell you. So get Bullet Holes in the Sky. That's what we're talking about. Mary Gaucher, Gauthier. It's right there. You just type it in and boom, the lyric will be right there. Okay? Make sure to hit the little arrow, the very, very light colored arrow at the bottom of the lyric, and it'll open up the whole lyric, because you're not seeing the whole lyric. You need to see it all. All right, so we're talking about how to tell a good story in as far as lyric goes. Different techniques for telling stories. So we have in this first verse, we have a setting. So this is a snapshot, right? We have a snapshot of a parade beginning on Lower Broadway at the riverfront in Nashville, Tennessee. And that'd be my hometown right now. I've been here for 42 years, let me just say. And I loved every minute of it. I'm really glad I live here. I love it. Nashville has really developed into a wonderful, wonderful songwriting community. songwriting of all genres. I know I'm getting off topic, but you know, I got to just say good things about Nashville. There's, of course, country music here and bluegrass. We know that. It's pretty famous for that. Pretty famous. Well, it's the home. It's the mother church, isn't it, of country music, and not maybe so much bluegrass, but country. But let me tell you, there's R&B here. There is alternative alt rock. There is independent. There is indie. There is Americana all over the place. There is pop writers. It's just amazing. The diverse hip hop and rap artists are here. A reggae. It's literally an explosion of a cornucopia of talent that seems to be drawn here from all over the country and all over the world, really, because Nashville's such a laid-back, cool place, and it's in this wonderful tree-laden basin, right, with a river running through it, the middle of the basin. So you have these rolling hills and lots of foliage and trees. It's not like, I mean, I love LA, all right? I love LA. But LA is much more like concentrated buildings, lots of buildings and streets. Whereas Nashville, everywhere you go, there's trees and grass and flowers, and there's hills, and there's little parks everywhere, and it's just wonderful. So we just love our city of Nashville. It's a wonderful place. Wonderful, wonderful place to live and raise your family. Yeah. Yeah, so let's get on with this. So here it is. So now we have this wonderful description, very unique details, right? Describing time, place, and what it is that we're doing. So I love all these unique details. And notice that that on the third line, let's talk about all the senses that are in this first verse. Because we talked about, like seeing is a standard way to write. We always talk about what we see. We write with our eyes. But Mary and Jamie have written with several senses. Let's discuss. So, we have 11th of November down in Nashville, Tennessee, free breakfast at the Waffle House, if I show them my ID. Well, right away, when you say free breakfast, that's smell and taste, isn't it? I mean, right away, I can smell the inside of Waffle House. And yes, I go to the Waffle House for biscuits and gravy. Yes, I do. They make killer biscuits and sausage gravy with one fried egg on top. Yeah, over easy. Ah, yeah, love it. Love it. Love it, love it. Okay. So we got a parade. So you can hear the trumpets play. Okay, so we've got seeing, tasting, smelling, and hearing. We've got all the senses but one. There's only one missing. And that would be, which one's missing? Touching. Okay. Wait a minute. Hands on hearts. That's a touching thing. Good God Almighty. She's got all the senses in one verse. And I just now discovered that. That's crazy, all right? That's crazy. So, way to go, Mary and Jamie. Nailing all five senses in one verse. Nailing them down. Yeah, I love it. Okay, let's go on to the chorus. They thank me. That's conversation. Using conversation as a technique for furthering your lyric, right? Having someone say something. Very nice. And they thank me for my service, and they wave, there's a visual, their little flags. I love that image. That's so cool. Little flags. You can see them. It's so cool. And they genuflect on Sundays. And yes, they'd send us back. Yeah. Okay. Now, what's going on there? They thank us, and they wave their little flags. And notice she goes to, and any particular time they're going to go on Sundays to church. Notice how she jumped from the scene. Here we are, down on Lower Broadway on the riverfront, parade's beginning, and then she just reflects, and they also, on any particular time, so that's the ongoing present, right? On any particular Sunday, they would genuflect. And what else do they do on Sundays? And yes, they'd send us back again. Ow! So, do you see the? It's not sarcasm. It's when you make it's a political statement, right? I'm just again forgetting my. It's not sarcasm. It's all right. Anyway, let's keep moving. But it is, like we pray and then we send you back to war, right? That's it's a. Oh God, I want to know what that is. What the heck is that called? It's a. When you make a critique of society, it's called a what? Anyway, it'll come to me, and somebody's going to tell me what it is. Somebody's going to send it. Hearts and minds. Okay, hey Seth, how you doing? How you doing, bro? It's not an entendre. It's a. I'll think of it. Satire. Is that it? Satire? I think that might be the word. That might be the one I'm talking about. It's a satire. It's a statement about, yeah, they go to church, but they also would send us to war. Really? It's like there's a little. It's a little hypocritical, isn't it? Hypocritical. Yeah. I think that's a satire. I think that's what that is. A satire can also have funny undertones, but I think that's what that is. I think that's a satire. The fact that, and it's also loaded with contrast, isn't it? Praying and sending people to war, especially when you're praying to, like we're supposedly Christians. And of course, this is a discussion for another day, but it's so interesting. I find the Bible so fascinating because it has the Old Testament and the New Testament, and you're wondering, they kind of fight each other, and yet they're in the same book. Because Jesus said, I don't want to change the Old Testament, I just want to add to it. Well, by his addition is, love your enemy. Give everything you have to the poor. Love yourself and do your best. Help others. His message was simple. Easy to understand for anyone. And yet, the Old Testament is extremely difficult to understand, and it's constantly conflicting. In one passage there's slaves, and they recommend slaves, and another one they talk about, like beating your wife if she's not any good, and then another one they say cast the first stone, or no, I think that was Jesus. But you know what I mean? It's like, whoa, it's full of conflict. Whereas when we get into the New Testament, it's like, it's real easy to understand. Here's the deal. Love yourself, love your neighbors, love your enemy, do your best, be kind, be gentle, and give everything you have to the poor. Boom. Done. What part of that do you not understand? That's what I want to know. Yeah. Anyway, so moving on. So let's read the next two lines. Is, but I believe in God and country, and in angels up on high. All right. Okay. So we have God and angels, right? And countries thrown in there, which is, we've heard that. I believe in God and country. We've heard that before. And angels up on high. And here's the killer line. And in heaven shining down on us through bullet holes in the sky. People of America. And I mean, it's kind of obvious. You want to have your best line, your most poignant line at the end of a section, right? And this happens to be the chorus. So we have a verse and a chorus. And so why not have the strongest line on that last line? And it is, I mean, the idea, I don't know who came up with that idea, but that concept, that wonderful figurative writing, heaven shining down on us through bullet holes in the sky. And notice they're saying, praying on Sunday and sending us back to war. So you're praying to heaven and you're going to war, so the bullet, what I'm saying is the chorus ties together like a neat little Christmas ribbon, right? Very, very nice. Just real clean, precise, and concise package of message there, right? So I just, again, brilliant writing. Okay, so so I guess they came up with the idea of war. And when you see clouds, sometimes clouds can cover the sky and there's just little bits of sun that come through, like rays. You know how the rays come down through the clouds? And the ray can look like, if you spend a lot of time, looking at, what do they call those bullets that, that light up so you can see where you're shooting, the bullets with the flares. And so it can look like one of those, that beam. And somebody could have said, it could have been Jamie that said, on a cloudy day when the sun breaks through, it looks like a tracer bullet. Looks like a tracer bullet. Oh, I love that tracer bullet. All right. A tracer bullet. Killer. All right. Now, so you can see how this is all beautifully tied together, right? So we have a conversation on the first line, and we have a visual. Then we have an anytime we go out of the present moment, and we go into, and any day they might do this and that, right? And then you go into a belief, like I believe. That's a conclusion, right? So we come up with this two-line conclusion. Here's my conclusion. I believe in God and country and the angels up on high. And what else? And to tie that all together with the angels and the Sunday and the sending us back to war, and in heaven shining down on us through bullet holes in the sky. I mean, good Lord. I mean, that really just sends chills, down my arm and through my heart, right? Okay, so you can see all the elements of that chorus. A description, a reflection of any time we might do this and that. And then, so actions, and then we have a belief system. I believe in this and I believe in that. And of course, what they believe is just like freaking crazy, you know, that they came up with that image of the bullet holes. And I know we relate to that. Witnesses ask me how I'm doing, is second verse, but I don't know what to say. I was thinking about the battlefield the night I learned to pray. So let's look at those first two lines. So the waitress, so there she is at the Waffle House, right? So we actually have, what do we have? We have two settings. We have the singers at the Waffle House. Meanwhile, right? I should have noticed that about the first verse. We actually have two settings here. Setting 1, and then setting 2. Right? And now we go back to setting number 1. Waitress asking me how I'm doing. I don't know what to say. And that's giving us a hint that she's feeling a certain reluctance to talk about her experiences, right? And I was thinking about the battlefield the night I learned to pray. Whoa. So we have what we call a backstory on the second verse. So I don't know what to say. Why? Let's go to a backstory. I love the backstory trick. That's always a great way to, again, flush out and continue a story and keep it interesting. People love the backstories to anything. People love they love the answer to why. You know, but why, Daddy? Remember the kids? Why, Daddy? But why? 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 How many times do you hear that from a 2-year-old? People love to know the answer, why, right? It's one of the big ones. Tracer, yeah. Traceable, oh yeah, we figured that out. Thanks, Robert. So I'm thinking about the battlefield the night I learned to pray. Now, this is what I call high impact writing. When you can take a single image, like the night I learned to pray, what does that tell you? Huge amounts of information are coming across from that one line, right? So we take one incident, like here we are, let's say this is your first night on the battlefield. You're scared out of your freaking wits. You don't know if you're even going to live another 5 minutes. And this is nothing like all the practices that you've done, you know, in South Carolina, right? Or out in Nevada or wherever you were. This is the real deal with real bullets. And so you turn to the heavens and you say a prayer that if there is a God, could you please keep me alive until tomorrow morning? And that one moment of prayer turns into a whole picture of a night of terror, right? So the night I learned to pray, so you can pick, what I'm trying to say is one of the great things about writing is you can pick one small thing that you do and it can represent a much bigger image, picture, and emotion, right? And this lyric is exactly that. I was thinking about the battlefield, so we picture battlefield, so we've got the battlefield. The night I learned to pray tells you that bullets were flying everywhere, and it was really, really, really dangerous, right? Really, really dangerous. So Fantastic lyric there. Okay, and yeah. So now, marchers make their way down Main Street. The crowd begins to cheer. It kind of sounds like the Waffle House is right there on Main Street. Well, I happen to know, I know they're cheating a little bit. I happen to know that there isn't a Waffle House down on Lower Broad. At least I don't think there is. There may be one somewhere. I don't think so. Anyway, it's all right. This is songwriting. And with songwriting, what do we do with songwriting? We take real facts from our real lives because people magnate towards the truth. They love the truth. And they can detect when you're telling a lie. You have to be a really, really good storyteller to tell lies. But, all right? But what we tell, in order to be a good songwriter, this is what we do. We say, you take the real truth, but you never let the truth get in the way of a good story. In other words, lie. So it's weird. It's like they can detect a lie, so stay truthful. So what we're saying is, what? Lie in a truthful way, right? So when you choose to lie, close your eyes and imagine a real person in a real situation. And then lie your ass off, right? Why do we want to lie in a truthful way? Because we want to blow up our experience from just a simple emotion to a compelling emotion. We go from simple to compelling, right? Right? That's right. We're always looking for, and we always want to express compelling emotions. And we're doing it, and this song does it in so many wonderful ways. I love the battlefield, the night I learned to pray. I mean, that is freaking brilliant. It's just like that shining down on us through bullets holes in the sky. I mean, that, I'll be honest with you, that could have been a song. I was thinking about the battlefield, the night I learned to pray. The song could be titled, The Night I Learned to Pray. I mean, that's how powerful that line is, right? So let's read on. Marchers make their way down Main Street. The crowd begins to cheer. I feel my chest explode as my eyes fill up with tears. Okay. She's going back to the night she learned to pray. And she's reliving the fear and the doubt and the anxiety and the mission, the whole thing, just the conflict of the whole thing. Here I am, this scared child in a uniform with the attitude of a soldier, right? And so I'm trying to keep my cool, trying to be adult, trying to follow directions, trying to remember my experiences, right? All my training. And then everything's canceling out because I'm so scared. So you're doing your very, very best to try to bring it back to what you can remember, bring it back to a place where you can function, right? Where you can simply take a step and maybe hold a rifle or a gun or whatever your job was, look at the radar. So many different jobs. So, there you are, right? And then so I feel my chest explode. Now again, with just a few words, we get this high impact writing. Like I feel my chest explode. Now, that's what I call a compelling emotion right there. As my eyes fill up with tears. As my eyes fill up. They didn't have the word with. I think there must be with in there. Yeah, I think with is missing. At any rate, okay, let's move on so we can see. It's so interesting that we have the two scenes coming together here, and so obviously in this song, he or she is in the Waffle House, and this brings up another topic, and that is Mary Goucher. I don't think she went into the service. I don't think she served. She may have. She may have. She's the kind of person that might have done that. But it doesn't matter, because the great thing about songwriters and writers in general is you can be anybody you want to be, right? You just want to state it at the beginning of the song. So I can be a woman. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. I'm going to do a little something for you. Check this out. Here, let me bring it down here so you can see my beautiful, my gibbo. Love my gibbo. Got all these capos. Yeah, this is a cutaway J45 studio model. See, it's thinner here, so it's not real boomy, but it still has that bottom, but not so much that it mics really nice. Put a microphone on, it's really nice. I'm an old maid, taking orders, keeping quarters till my shift is through. I wear a short skirt because they'll have to take me in my tennis shoes. Lord, I've been here since the dawn of time. They think they know me, they don't know me. Man stood at my door, a lipstick shade before, back when I shine. See? Suddenly I'm an old woman, right? Because I said so at the beginning. I'm an old maid, taking orders, I keep quarters till my shift is through. Right away, right? We know who that is. And I want to thank Sally Barris for three things. First of all, being a great friend, wonderful, super wonderful person that she is. 2, she introduced me to the 3-string capo. Love that 3-string capo. Love it. And the third thing is writing that song with me. Absolutely. And I can't remember how we came up with that idea of a waitress. I think it must have been Sally. But she came over and wrote with me one day, many moons ago, and she brought that 3-string capo and she started playing it, and immediately I had to run out and get a 3-string capo. Try to say that fast 3 times. Can't do it, can you? No, you can't. At any rate, you can see how, yes. Robert says, yes, and the music sounds like raindrops, even cloud by the end. Let's see what Robert's talking about. That's kind of cool. Let's just listen to the end of the song here.
Shining down on us through
does sound like raindrops. Good observation, Robert. Good observation. Very good. I like that. Now that would be good prosody, wouldn't it? We talked about prosody, and that would be good prosody, to have music that sounds like raindrops, right? Yes. Okay. We're running out of time here, but we're almost done with the song, and I think we've learned a whole lot about. We have a snapshot, but we go. Notice we do a backstory. Notice we have another setting. We have two settings that come together, right? So as she's in the restaurant, she's looking out over this parade that's starting, right? So I love the two settings that come together, right? So we have a photograph of a soldier in a Waffle House looking out through the window at a parade. And we know that Waffle House is full of windows. You know, it's almost like a wall of windows, so you can really see that parade very clearly. And so everything takes place there. And then we have on any, in the second verse, in the chorus, we have on any given moment, they might do this. And because they're doing this, I feel this way. I believe in God and country and the angels above, and heaven shining down on us through bullet holes in the sky. In other words, the terrible conflict between heaven and war. She's really, really brilliantly expressing the conflict between those two things, right? So let's read that third verse real quick before I have to sign off. Oh, Jesus said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And he's here with me this morning, and his words still ring true. All right, so isn't that interesting? So now she's drawing a conclusion based on all the facts that have been happening, right? She uses Jesus or the Bible or some spiritual, right? She uses a spiritual reference. And, you know, in your song, it could have been any spiritual reference, whether it be Buddha or Muhammad or Jesus or Abraham or, any other thing. Oh, my. My sister just texted me that she's going to a place where we used to go when we were children in Vermont. So I'm feeling a little bit clapped now. Pull it back together. Okay. So he's with me this morning, and his words still ring true. So I hang my head and pray to those we lost and those who remain. It says I hand my head, but I'm pretty sure it's I hang my head. Again, misprint. As the clouds burst over Nashville and it begins to rain. It says it begins to rain. Jeez. We have to retype these lyrics. This is just ridiculous. So, do you see how in the third verse, she goes to a spiritual reference, drawing many conclusions. A conclusion about a spiritual thing, and then that he's with me. So we have a spiritual reference, and you tie it into the now, and I'm feeling that now today as I'm watching the parade. I love the juxtaposition of that. I think about my religious experience and I see how it's helping me right now, right? Okay, and then so now I do something, a little action. I bow my head and pray for those who lost and those remain. So praying for the reason why we're having the parade, right? Praying for those things, right? Or it could be my hand and my Head or my head in my hands. It could be, yes. Yes, it could be. We'll have to look at, I'll have to look at the, oh, I've got the lyricals right, I've got the lyrics right here. So I hang my head. See, I've got the actual lyric here. This is the little package that comes with this album, Mary Gauthier album, Rifles and Rosary Beads. Really, really wonderful album that Mary Gauthier wrote with soldiers or relatives of soldiers, okay? She did it with both. And they're all credited on this wonderful sheet, you know, this wonderful sheet that has all the lyrics in it. Okay? So, and it begins to rain. So we were right. We guessed it right, okay? So what an amazing ending. Let's talk about how wonderful this is. Was it actually raining? Maybe not. But Mary and Jamie got the idea. If I'm holding back tears, songwriters know the connection between tears and rain. Like the sky is crying, the sun is out, the sky is blue, not a cloud to spoil the view, but it's raining, raining in my heart. Buddy Holly, hence the glasses, all right? Yeah, so I love that, you know, that at the end of the second verse, my chest explodes, great word there, as my eyes fill up with tears, right? And then the clouds burst. Do you see the similarities? How they drew, possibly they drew from that end of that second verse and said, let's take the meaning of that second verse and let's see if we can fit it, tell it in a slightly different way. So the clouds burst over Nashville, so they actually have real rain. And we know that real rain is symbolizing all the pain that was going through this person's chest and soul and heart, right? Absolute brilliant way to end it, with actual real rain coming down, representing the emotion and the release of the emotion that she or he was feeling this moment as the parade's going by, and they reflect on all their war experience, and they realize that people just don't understand. And she's forgiven them like Jesus did. I mean, just the whole thing, the way it all ties together, so nice. I love that the symbolic rain, and then followed by, on the last verse, actual real rain. So figurative versus literal. Figurative versus literal. Those tricks are used all the time in songwriting. Whereas one moment you might have something that's, and it's sometimes it's reversed, where you have the real thing like it's raining, and then at the end you have the symbolic like it's raining from my eyes, right? So again, you get the connection, you get the imagery with the emotion. You know, that's the wonderful thing about symbols, is symbols connect imagery with emotion, right? Like it's raining anvils and sledgehammers. So you get images of anvils and sledgehammers falling from the sky, but you also get this incredible emotion, like how hard it's raining, right? You get that emotion, right? So symbols are wonderful because they connect two worlds. They connect the worlds of imagery, of the real world, with the emotional world in one thing, right? Symbols are so, so good at doing that, right? They can say emotionally so much in one phrase, like raining anvils and sledgehammers, raining anvils and hammers, right? That says a whole paragraph of literal language. Like, it was raining so hard that the lawn was filling up with puddles and I couldn't see 10 feet in front of me. See how long it took me to explain that? But raining anvils and hammers, right away you get that kind of image. So symbols are so good at expressing big emotion in a short amount of time, right? That's one of the great things they do. And then they mix imagery with emotion. And we know how much people love imagery. Imagery creates interest, right? Unique details create interest. Contrast creates interest. And I got hammered. Oh, that's funny. That's, yeah, exactly. Very funny. Very funny. Yeah. So I think I'm done for the day. Let's say we're done. Hey, we're done. We did it. Thank you, Mary Gaucher. Thank you, Jamie Trent. Thank you, Rifles and Rosary Beads. Thank you for your wonderful work, helping soldiers express the emotions of what they had to go through, and converting it into a creative process, that cathartic creative process, and giving it back to the world, right? So that we all can enjoy and we can feel that catharticism, is that a word? Cathartic experience. We can share it with the soldiers, and we can feel what a soldier feels and have compassion for soldiers through songs, through art. And that's a wonderful thing. All right? All right. We'll see you next time. Hey, I've got another Mary Gaucher song. So on Friday, we might continue with another Mary Gaucher song. I also want to do another what do they call him? The Boss. You know, Bruce Springsteen. I want to. I don't know if we've done it before. I may have done it a long time ago, but I want to do "Tunnel of Love," which is a great song that has so many wonderful lessons in it. All right, and it also deals with symbols, right? So, oh, one more thing. How many symbols were in this song? Bullet holes in the sky. That's the main theme. That's the main thing. It's the title. Is there any other mention of? Is there any other symbol in this song? Is there? There may not be another single symbol. So that's very interesting. But the symbol is supported by all these real things, right? Like heaven shining down through bullet holes in the sky. So we know, so there's lots of war references, right? Lots of parades dealing with wars. So we have the main theme, which is wars, and then we have side themes like parades dedicated to war. We have a soldier eating in a little cafe. So we have soldiers from the war. We have parades talking about the war. We have the day dealing with the war, but none of these are symbols. So what I'm trying to say is, if you have a symbolic title, you don't necessarily need more symbols to represent it. You can just use that one symbol, and that's all you need, right? So just a little sidebar. You know, when it comes to symbols, sometimes we might want to say less is more, right? Because if we did too many symbols supporting this symbol, it might seem melodramatic and kind of over the top, you know, and those kind of melodramatic over the top things, you might lose the interest of the listener. So again, trying to keep it real, right? Trying to keep it real. Yeah. So that was just a little something to think about when you come up with a symbolic title. You don't necessarily have to support it with lots of other symbols. You might support it just with real life things. Not that you couldn't. We could go over Garth Brooks' song "The River." We could. That's a huge symbol. Huge symbol. I'm going to write down that "The River." We talked about the river because that is a big symbol, and we talked about Tunnel of Love, which represents a whole thing. And we talked about Mary Gaucher's "Maybe." We're going to do, because there's a certain simplistic beauty to "It's Her Love." Her love. All right? So those are topics that we could cover on Friday. And like I said, just to remind you, if you have a song that you want to go over, send it to me in this chat, and I'll write it down and I'll go through it. And if it's something that has a lesson that I can use, I will use it. We had several really good ones in the past. We had one that's "We Will Rock You." That was a great one to go over. And then we had another one that was also really, really good. I can't remember what it was now, but another really good song. So if you got ideas, let me know your ideas, and I'll look them over. All right? Okay. Until the next time, until Friday, keep it on the double nickel. I'll see you on the flip flop. Adios, all my amigos out there.